fire, fire.
This week on the $1 Million Plan, we hit some concepts we've never hit on this show before. Something called a backdoor Roth. We've got a small pension that's frozen, and we've got no kids, 4 dogs, and a cat, and 2 people. And one of those people joins us now. Her name's Maybel. Hello, Maybel.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Are you nervous? Are you jittery? Are you good?
I'm totally excited.
You know, I keep a little jar of jitter glitter. So if you're jittery and you've got the jitters, I can sprinkle some glitter. But that'd be weird. So let's not do that.
Okay.
Sorry. I have a son who just started kindergarten, and the teacher gave them all packets of glitter to sprinkle on themselves if they get nervous. And I'm thinking, that's cute. But there's glitter all over my son. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be very messy.
I don't know. Anyway, so Maybel, what are we doing today? You're 48 years old. Am I making up this age? You're 48?
I just had a birthday.
Oh, congratulations. I've gotten you enlightenment. What's your situation? Like, who's working? How many people? What are we trying to solve today?
Okay, so it's my husband and I.
Okay.
And we have no children.
Okay.
And we have several dogs. We have 4 dogs and a cat.
Okay.
And we live in the Southwest. And we have, I think, some pretty good things going on. And we're just trying to figure out what's the next step in our financial plan.
So if you think of your financial trajectory, let's start here. Your trajectory, the last 10 years of your financial life. Are you on an upswing? Are you on a downswing? Have you been plateaued for a while? Like, where you at?
We're on an upswing.
And
for sure.
What caused that?
Well, when we first, my husband and I have been together for 10 years, and we got married 8 years ago. And when we first got married, it was my first experience with combining households and things like that.
Sure.
I had a house, he had a house, and it was 2008. And we both bought our homes in 2005.
Oh.
And in 2008, they weren't worth what we paid for them. And so we were in an unusual situation. Should we sell these houses? Should we live in one, not the other? And so the natural thing for us to do would have been to live in my 2005 built 3-2 house.
Okay.
1,600 or so square feet.
Got it.
And be comfortable, and then maybe rent or sell his house, which was built in 1926. It was 2-1 with 870 square feet.
Okay.
And so we were sitting there for a while thinking on this because that just seemed like the logical thing to do. And then one day I said to him, I go, the easier house to rent would be the newer house.
Yeah.
The 1926 house needs some things, and we can't do those things right now. So why don't we go live in this house we've never spent any significant amount of time in together, and let's just live there. And he said, are you crazy? And I said, no, I think this will actually work. So that's what we did. We moved into the small house.
And now, several years later, did it work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did, because we stayed there for 7 or so years, and we paid it off.
Holy, okay, that's amazing.
Yeah. A lot of factors led to that, but we stayed there for quite some time and made it work.
So do you still live there?
No, we moved into a larger home nearly 2 years ago, and we now rent that house out.
Okay, so you rented the small house out. Did you keep the other house?
Yes, we did. It is rented as well.
So you are a real estate mogul of the Southwest.
Yeah, I guess. I'm on my way.
I love this. Okay, so this is a good thing. Any major bumps, financial bumps along the way in the last 10 years, other than real estate, which can be a bump and when the real estate market explodes?
No major issues other than the past couple of years, since we got to this newer house built in the 50s, we've had some issues come up. I wanted to replenish our savings, so we spent some time doing that. And we had about $20,000 in repairs in the rental house that we had to take care of.
Wow.
Earlier this year, at the end of last year, earlier this year, we had a $5,000 tree expense here.
Ugh.
And we're looking forward to having a similar expense coming up with trees again. And so those are our major issues, and the way we handle things is we just pay as we go.
Sure.
So.
Okay, so I would say so far so good. I like your financial situation. It seems stable. What we're going to try to figure out now is, are you on a path to a successful outcome in the long term? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So do you think you are? Let's start there. Do you think right now your current plan works for the long term?
Right now, I think we're doing everything we can to be successful. However, we need to focus on our next steps.
Okay.
And making sure everything is secure and going in the right direction. I think we've been pretty good so far. I just want to look ahead and make sure we're set up.
You've got short-term stability. Nicole, let's take a look at the numbers here. She's got $60-some thousand in your savings for emergencies and midterm emergencies. So I would consider that stable. Would you agree with that, Maybel?
Yes.
Did you like how I rhymed stable and Maybel, how I was able to do that?
Yes, that was very good.
I'm pleased with myself right now.
I wish I were so quick.
Well, here's the thing. It took years of study to be able to rhyme. And so someday you may have the time to, oh my gosh, Nicole, are you getting this? This is like a rap album in here. Okay, I'm sorry. So one rental property you own outright. The other one has $90,000 left on it, and you've got a 30-year mortgage. How far into that 30-year mortgage? Is it from 2008? So you have 21 years left?
It's from 2011. We refinanced.
Are you cash flow positive on that rental?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your income you showed us, Nicole, go back a screen if you would. The income you showed us is $221,000 a year of household income with a net monthly of $12,500. Did you include cash flow positive rent in that $12,500 number?
No.
Okay, so how much is in addition to that $12,500?
Another $1,500 or
okay,
so.
Cool. And what does it do? Does it go to like a rental property fund?
Right now, any extra money we like to do things one at a time.
Okay.
And so any extra money we have right now is going towards, I just bought a car. So
Nice.
we're taking any extra money and siphoning it in that direction.
Can I guess what kind of car?
Sure.
Okay, first of all, what do you do for a living?
I work in IT.
Okay, that's a powerful tool. Where did you go to? Oh, I don't want to say where you went to college. I don't want to ask that question because I don't want to identify you too much. I'm going to go with a Subaru.
No?
Damn. Am I close?
Maybe.
Beamer?
No.
Prius?
No. Close. Very close. I did get a hybrid.
Okay. Toyota Camry hybrid?
I got a Kia Niro.
I've never even heard
Not many
of that.
people. Yeah, not many people have heard of that, but it's a small SUV, and it gets 50 miles to the gallon.
Holy cow! Okay. So that backfired. I didn't know what you drove. Okay, so so you're both working right now?
Yes.
So the big questions here are you on path to a successful outcome? Let's look at your $1 million day based on what you're doing right now. You've got $336,000 or something like that set aside in long-term savings, and you're putting $553 a month towards your husband's 401k. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I've got your $1 million day at July 12th of 2029. July 12th of 2029, and at age 67, well, of your age 67. By the way, how old's your husband?
He's 51.
Okay, so your age 67. If you keep doing exactly what you're doing now with nothing additional and excluding real estate, you'll have $1.83 million at age 67, which will produce a monthly income after tax of about $4,200. But in today's dollars, because of inflation, it'll feel like $2,600. Are those numbers seem reasonable from a, did I miss any major assets or deposits on a regular basis that are happening right now?
No, actually, you haven't, and that sounds pretty good considering that we're not contributing as much as we should be.
Right, so this
right
is like
now.
a big crux of our conversation here of like,
Yeah.
I'm jumping all over. I have not had enough coffee today, and so when I get between not enough and too much, my mind doesn't work. I don't know if you've got a caffeine
That's
problem.
okay. We got a lot going on,
So,
yeah.
are the rental properties part of your retirement plan?
Yes.
Okay. And once your cash, what's the rent payment on the one you still owe money on?
$1,600.
What's the rent payment on the one that's free and clear?
$1,250.
Okay, so we're going to call it $3,000, okay? And you're going to have some property taxes and insurance costs, but you've got $3,000 a month of income between the two. But it's only going to go up over time unless I don't see the rental market, hitting the skids consistently over the next 19 years. So if you add that $3,000 a month to, and we'll just call it $3,000 now without inflating rent, to the $4,200, you're at $7,200 a month in income. Plus, Social Security for two working people will probably be another $4,000 total. You're talking about $11,000, which is going to feel like about $6,000 in today's numbers. So how does that sit with you? $6,000, all homes are owned outright. How's that feel and sound to you?
Well, that's about what we live on now. So, or we can.
Sure.
If we're careful. And we're pretty careful. So, yeah, that sounds okay.
So I'm not.
I'd like it to be bigger.
Me too.
But
I'm with you. Like I'm right now, as we go through this, I'm a little nervous because that's a doable situation. But honestly, with someone with your income and what the decisions you've made, all good decisions, I don't want doable in retirement. I want great.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, how much money a month are you willing to dedicate towards your financial priorities? And then what period of time are we trying to make easier? Are we trying to make now easier? Are we trying to make 10 years from now easier for some godforsaken reason? I have no idea why you would want to make 10 years from now easier. Or are you trying to make retirement easier? Do you know what period of time it's important for you to make easier?
I want to make retirement easier. Our goal, my husband's 51 and a very young and energetic 51.
I'm an old 39, if it matters. I'm an old 39.
We're both pretty young. As a matter of fact, when I hear you talk, I more identify with your life than being 10 years older than you.
Sure, no, that's all right.
Okay, and trust me, it won't feel any different once you get here.
Good. I like that.
But he would like to leave his company at 55 because he will get full medical at that time and do something else with his time. Maybe downsize his job, maybe go across to another job, but eventually just kind of wind that career down at that workplace. He's been there almost 30 years.
Okay, so I like this. So he's 51, and that's ideally at 55 that's happening?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got to take a little bit of a different approach here, if that's okay.
Okay.
Nicole, go back to the income screen, if you would. Sorry, I just boss people around. That's what I do, Maybel. $221,000 of household income. How much of that is his income versus your income?
His is 67.
And yours is the remainder?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is his take-home pay of the $67,000?
1770 every 2 weeks.
Okay. So we're
Oh,
replacing.
wait.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
we're replacing $3,500 a month of income for him for 4 years from now. That's what we're trying to do. He's not retiring, but he's got to find something that allows your retirement plan to be successful, that still serves sort of his intellect and what he wants to do, but brings in something around there, if not less, as long as you guys increase your retirement savings now and over the next 4 years. Did I describe that accurately, or am I missing something?
No, that sounds accurate.
How much a month do you think you could do something with right now? How much could you set aside for longer term financial priorities as opposed to house projects?
Well, probably $3,000 or $4,000
A month.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm pulling things up as we talk here. Oh, by the way, you talked about how he's got health care for life upon stepping away at 55. Is that for you too, or just him?
I'm not clear on that. I don't think it includes me.
The tough part about that is you're younger, right? And so you're going to need answers on that, because when you think of retirement age, I'm sure that coverage takes hold until 65 for him, but you would only be 62, so you would need some coverage during that 3 years, and that could be a pretty expensive 3 years.
Okay.
But let's look at some possible changes here. If you added another $1,000 a month towards your retirement plan, instead of having $1.8 million in retirement, you'd have $2.3 million in retirement. And instead of having $2,600 available of income at age 67 in today's dollars, you'd have $3,400. So that's $1,000 more a month right now. I don't want to call it a no-brainer because I don't like that phrase. But that definitely takes us a little bit further, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think the question is how much of $3,000, if you have $3,000 a month to work with, I don't know if it makes sense to throw all of it at retirement. That seems a little overblown, but I think we need to throw at least $1,000. Could you commit to that?
Oh, easily, yeah. I've been struggling with what to do next, and because we have some surplus, and we have some things to take care of at this house, and we still want to live our lives and enjoy ourselves some, but we tend to be kind of frugal, and we don't have lots of expenses.
How much do you owe in your house that you live in now? How much do you owe?
$247.
And your payment's like $2,200 a month or something like that? Nicole, pull that up.
Yeah,
2,000?
$2,100.
Yeah. The 30-year mortgage. Do you plan on staying there, or are you going to buy a house that was built in the 70s next? I know you just like to chunk up a few.
I don't think we'll stay here.
Okay.
This house, it's funny, after living in a small house and living in a house over double the size, we found we just don't need all this space. And it's a really, I don't see us staying in the state that we live in either. So eventually I anticipate we would sell this house.
Can I put words in your mouth for a second?
Mm-hmm.
I think you want flexibility. Is that true?
I want to be able to do what I want when I want to do it, yeah.
Okay, I'll call that flexibility, for lack of a better definition. I think right now your situation, the way it sets up, does not provide you flexibility. I think when you have $3,000 a month of cash flow that's sort of unassigned, that you're employing that flexibility now, which is taking away the flexibility of the near and far future. Do you know what I mean by that?
No, not really. I mean, because we're not trying to use the money that we have extra right now. We're trying to find a place to put it.
No, I understand. I know that's why you're on the program today, and I'm not beating you up for that either. What I'm saying, though, is, and you know that, I'm just restating what you wrote in an email to us. You are not leveraging opportunity properly in order to provide the future you want as of right today.
Correct.
Okay. So you can't contribute to, you're in IT, but you cannot contribute to a 401k. Is that correct?
I am a contractor.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't have that right now.
Would that change any time in the future, or do you think there's no reason that it would change?
I don't anticipate it's going to change.
So one of the questions you asked about was something called, colloquially, I can't say that word, so I shouldn't try, backdoor Roth IRAs. And the concept is you guys earn too much money to contribute to a Roth IRA. So you're above the income bracket. But what you could do is contribute to traditional IRAs, and then after the fact, convert those traditional IRAs into Roth IRAs, which would then mean you just pay tax in the year of the conversion. And each person, based on age, you can put $5,500 into your Roth or backdoor Roth, and your husband could put away $6,500 into his. I mean, so you could easily take that $1,000 a month and set up two traditional IRAs, and then go through a conversion ladder into backdoor Roths. And I think that's a reasonable strategy. Do you understand it well enough to do that, or are there questions you have surrounding it?
I understand it well enough to do it. It's just that I don't have confidence in the person that we've been using in the past. And so I'm not sure that we're invested the way we should be. And so I'm a little bit hesitant to go back to that person and want to know what my other options are.
That's uncomfortable, right?
Well, I guess, yeah. We haven't spoken for a while. So.
Is that where the lack of confidence exists, is in the lack of communication?
Yes.
You know, who does your taxes? Do you do them, or does someone else do them?
We have a CPA.
I think you start that conversation of a backdoor Roth with them.
Okay.
I mean, you don't even need to have the conversation with your financial advisor. Beyond that, you can do a backdoor Roth with any financial institution. I mean, you could do Vanguard online. You could do a Betterment account. I mean, you could do it yourself and fund it with index funds, which I know you asked about in your email, which is a pretty inexpensive, diverse way to do it. Would you be comfortable doing that, or is there still something missing? Do you feel like you need that one-on-one guidance?
No, I think I could do it myself. You know, I've read up a little bit on index funds and where to allocate them, et cetera.
Yeah, beyond that, I think if we look at that $3,000 a month, we're saying, well, what's the best use? Okay, so let's commit $1,000 to sort of the backdoor Roth mentality. Then you've got the other $2,000. I think arguably your husband could probably crank up his contributions a little bit. They're a little bit light right now. And then let's say he cranks it up by $500 a month, and then I think, because again, you're trying to wean, he's making $3,400 a month of income right now, which if you think about it, based on your income and what you spend, and you have a $3,000 surplus, arguably you don't even need his income, right?
No. I mean, we do have a $3,000 surplus we're willing to part with. We probably have a little more than that, actually. So,
right.
Yeah.
So this is interesting to me. By to the penny almost, using up this surplus, it allows him major flexibility at 55, because the longer it feels like you need his $3,400, the harder it is going to be for him to choose something appropriate at age 55. So then it becomes, well, what do you do with the other $1,500 or $2,000? You got some choices, right? You could escalate paying down some of your debt, either on a rental property or on your own home. You could build up your emergency fund a little more, although I think $60,000 is pretty solid right now. Or do you still have some projects that you're trying to check off your list over the next couple of years?
I would like to see us put more in retirement, pay down the second rental. I'd like to see it paid off, actually.
Sure.
I like having paid for stuff.
Yeah, me too.
And then also put some of it towards projects around here to make it a little more valuable for when we do sell it.
Is your health insurance through your husband right now, or do you have health insurance on your own?
I have it through him.
And does he have a traditional plan or a high deductible health insurance plan with an HSA?
He has a traditional.
Okay. Which means you're not, I mean, I know one of your questions to us in the email was, what's up with HSAs? Well, you can't contribute to one because his plan, from what you've said, doesn't give you that option. You either are in the traditional plan or you choose the high deductible plan if it's an option, and then throw money towards your health savings account. I assume he has open enrollment coming up. Does he have that choice?
Yes.
Is that a choice he has?
I think so.
It's a health thing. Like for me, if all you've ever been on traditional, it's just a little bit of a culture shock. But what you're doing is you're going to pay a little less premium for health coverage. It'll be cheaper, but then you can use the HSA as a tax shelter and make contribution to that. And that's money that you'll always have. You deduct it off your taxes, and it can go towards medical care, which could make some sense if neither of you have major medical expenses right now.
Okay.
Do either of you have any expenses right now for medical, or not really?
No, not really. I mean, he's on monthly medication. He has a condition, and he's in good shape. He goes to the doctor regularly. So.
I would say this: you wouldn't want to switch to an HSA until you know what the cost, because you're going to have to pay for that medicine out of the HSA, right?
Okay.
So I would not switch to an HSA until you knew how much that medicine would cost you every month.
Okay.
Because the plan is now it's either free or you've got some like $20 copay or something right now, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's tough. So, but before consider the cost of the drugs. What else am I missing? Anything else? Your financial life is really, really, really stable right now. But like you, I want to take that stability and create flexibility down the road.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
And it's
and
not,
also
yeah.
we have to.
Go
we
ahead.
also have to think about, my job, my income may not always be what it is, and I may not always be with my agency.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the why we have a lot in our savings, and just in the event that something were to happen and I found myself without work, we'd be prepared.
So let's address that from a slightly different perspective here. So far, we've talked about flexibility. We've talked about having a lot of money in retirement by building up some of these accounts. But I think when you look at job flexibility, your husband transitioning at 55, you not being with the agency you're currently with, maybe sometime in the future, then we're talking about not needing money, right? That's different than having a lot of money. What I'm saying is by paying off the rental, by paying off your mortgage, you've eliminated obligations that you're able to take a lesser position from an income standpoint and still survive. I think too often people live so high on the hog. I don't know if they say that in the Southwest. So high on the hog that they can't take a lesser paying job. And that's not what I want for you. I want you to be able to comfortably take a lesser paying job.
Yeah, that's what we want too.
Do both of you work for the government too? I feel like everyone on our program works for both of you work for government agencies?
No.
You said agency. Do you?
No.
Okay, that's a yes. All right. So, everyone on our show. I have a lot of Border Patrol
No,
people.
not even close.
Yeah.
Yes.
What? Any other questions you have?
No, I think you've pretty much covered it. It sounds like we're thinking similarly as far as putting some more into retirement, putting some more into paying down houses, and putting some into home projects.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you are as young as you say you are, which I believe you, that's not as condescending as it sounds, you don't want to tie up all your assets in post-59 and a half vehicles, right? So that is to say, that's why using this surplus of $3,000 to partially pay down your debts is a more effective tool, because that means you don't need money from 55 to 59. Whereas if you just loaded everything in qualified vehicles, you're just going to sit and stare at each other until you turn 59 and a half, and then life will get easier.
Okay, good. We're thinking alike, because that's been a concern of mine. It's like, well, we can't go anywhere.
Right. What's the point?
59 and a half. Yeah. So isn't it better to take what might be a lower paying investment, put it into the property, the second property, and see what happens? Then with this house, we're also thinking of, eventually selling it and then going on to our next adventure.
A house built in the 1970s. Yeah, right. I know how it works.
Yeah, well, I think what we're going to do is we'll probably try and buy a multifamily property and live in part of it and continue on the real estate path. It's
smart. I mean, it's passive income, and once you understand it, and once you're comfortable with the pain in the neck it can be sometimes, then you're good to go. I'm a reluctant landlord who is still angry at myself for putting myself in this situation, but I deal with it, and I won't get any more rental properties. But
is your wife reluctant?
She's reluctant that she married me. In terms, I deal with the rental. We have different duties, right? I deal with the rental. She deals with the bills. I deal with insurance and investing. We have different jobs at our house.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, my husband's a little bit reluctant.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that's all, ooh, yeah. And so when something goes wrong, I always tell him, I go, hey, listen, how long did it take for us to solve that problem?
Right.
A couple hours? Okay.
Look at you.
How much did we get paid for that 2 hours, this month?
It's your optimism.
So, yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, give us an update as things develop. We just got an update today from the lady who worked in pulp manufacturing as a pulp engineer who drives the Forester. I got an update from her, so we're going to update on the radio show next week. So send us updates when you can, Maybel. We would appreciate that.
Okay, I will.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you, Pete.
My pleasure. That's it for this week's show. If you want to be on the show, be on the show. It's pretty easy. Go to PeteThePlanner.com/podcast. We've recently, in the last week, we've gotten like 60 or something applications to be on the show. We look through every single one of them. And if we say no to you, don't feel ultimately judged. I don't know what to tell you if you said no, but we generally say yes to everybody. That's all that's in the show. You can see I have a Band-Aid on my finger, and you're probably wondering why. If you're watching on PeteThePlanner.tv, if you're listening to the podcast and I reference something physical, then you're thinking, well, what's happening? On TV, PeteThePlanner.tv, here's what happened. A bass cut my finger. It's a fishing injury, y'all. I'm out. Peace.
This is where I came from. Planet Lovetron, where we drop love bombs, funk missiles, and live in soul shelters. No helter-skelter. The heat don't swelter because everybody stays cool. Left many moons ago to bring the philosophies of my ancestors to another place, God. Picked the third rock, gave me to my earth family, and told me to create. And so I am. Pen in my hand, microphone on the stand. Over vinyl, I command and demand. Magnificence in an instance, I can make you dance, cry, or love. Fly as a dove, released from Everest. The fresh is fresh, and you can call me E.T. Word to John Tesh. Let me bless this harmonic presentation. It's amazing, so amazing. I'm the reason. Salutations, I bring you Lovetron greetings from a faraway land. I am the sole controller. Put the remote down and let me take control. You're now a part of my zone, so enjoy yourself. Lovetron can restore your health. I bring you greetings, salutations. How you doing? And is that how y'all say it? The tinkling of the keys is an homage to the little star. I sojourn over poetic descriptions of sound and travel to my other world. Out of this world, spaceship on my arm took me home, fueled by the ink and the megabytes and the hypertext transfer protocol, stronger than the Skynet and the Terminator. I push faders into warp speed, glide with ease, creating a breeze they call a black hole. Event horizon, no rear view concerns. This I adjourn, and beats I burn. This I adjourn, and beats I burn. Salutations, I bring you love-tron greetings from a faraway land. I am the soul controller. Put the remote down and let me take control. You're now a part of my zone, so enjoy yourself. Love-tron can restore your health. I bring you greetings, salutations. How you doing? And is that how y'all say it?